memories remain bright of the sakura dance floor where dreams took flight. In the sakura grove where dreams will remain. Beneath cherry blossoms, in the moon's soft gleam, a forest alive with a pulsating dream. Bells fall like confetti in this mystical trance. In the sakura grove where the music enchants. Sakura dance floor where dreams at night. Under blossoms we dance the night. Lost in a rhythm, souls take flight. In this enchanted forest where spirits unite. Neon lights flicker, casting shadows around. Echoes of laughter in this hallowed ground. With each bass beat, the trees sway in delight. As we move to the rhythm under the sakura's light. Sakura dance floor where dreams ignite. Under blossoms we dance in the night. Lost in a rhythm, souls take flight. In this enchanted forest where spirits unite. Nature's embraces our spirits free. In the sakura's arms we find ecstasy. Guided by music in this enchanted sense. In the sakura
Hello,
forest
hello,
where dreams
Pit.
and
Welcome in.
with dawn's approach,
Hi.
memories remain bright of the sakura dance floor where dreams took flight. In the sakura grove where dreams will remain. Beneath cherry blossoms, in the moon's soft gleam, a forest alive with a pulsating dream. Bells fall like confetti in this mystical trance. In the sakura grove where the music enchants. Sakura dance floor where dreams at night. Under blossoms we dance the night. Lost in a rhythm, souls take flight. In this enchanted forest where spirits unite. Neon lights flicker, casting shadows around. Echoes of laughter in this hallowed ground. With each bass beat, the trees sway in delight. As we move to the rhythm under the sakura's light. Sakura dance floor where dreams ignite. Under blossoms we dance in the night. Lost in a rhythm, souls take flight. In this enchanted forest where spirits unite. Nature's embraces our spirits free. In the sakura's arms we find ecstasy. Guided by music in this enchanted sense. In the sakura forest where dreams and pants. With dawn's approach, memories remain bright of the sakura dance floor where dreams took flight. In the sakura grove where dreams will remain. Beneath cherry blossoms, in the moon's soft gleam, a forest alive with a pulsating dream. Bells fall like confetti in this mystical trance. In the sakura grove where the music enchants. Sakura dance floor where dreams at night. Under blossoms we dance the night. Lost in a rhythm, souls take flight. In this enchanted forest where spirits unite. flicker, casting shadows around. Echoes of laughter in this hallowed ground. With each bass beat, the trees sway in delight as we move to the rhythm under the sakura's light. Sakura dance floor, where dreams ignite. Under blossoms we dance in the night, lost in rhythm, souls take flight. In this enchanted forest, where spirits unite. Nature's embraces, our spirits free. In the sakura's arms we find ecstasy. Guided by music in this enchanted sense. In the sakura forest where dreams enhance. With dawn's approach, memories remain bright. Of the sakura dance floor where dreams took flight. In the sakura grove where dreams will remain. Stir our spirits come alive. Here comes Kyo, the kitsune with sound. Watch the energy grow. From the depths of the dark to the heights of the sky. Her music sets us free as we dance and we fly. Through the neon haze and the whispers of the crowd comes a melody so sweet it breaks through the shroud. With each flicker of the lights and each thump of the bass, Kyo takes us on a journey to a higher place. Lost in the groove, we surrender control to the rhythm and the soul. It's Kyo's patrol. Hey, hey, here comes Kyo, the kitsune with sound. Watch the energy grow. From the depths of the dark to the heights of the sky. Her music sets us free as we dance and we fly. So raise up your hands and let your worries go. In the presence of Kyo, let the music flow.
Our shadows glow. Feel the pulse of the streets where dreams collide.
In the heart of the night, where the stars ignite, there's a rhythm that's calling, pure and bright. It's the beat of the city, alive and aglow, guided by a kitsune in the shadows below. Feel the pulse of the streets where dreams collide. In the hands of a master, our spirits come alive. Here comes Kyo, the kitsune with sound. Watch the energy grow. From the depths of the dark to the heights of the sky. Her music sets us free as we dance and we fly. Through the neon haze and the whispers of the crowd comes a melody so sweet it breaks through the shroud. With each flicker of the lights and each thump of the bass, Kyo takes us on a journey to a higher place. Lost in the groove, we surrender control to the rhythm and the soul. It's Kyo's patrol. Hey, hey, here comes Kyo, the kitsune with sound. Watch the energy grow. From the depths of the dark to the heights of the sky. Her music sets us free as we dance and we fly. So raise up your hands and let your worries go. In the presence of Kyo, let the music flow.
Our shadows glow. Feel the pulse of the streets where dreams collide.
In the heart of the
I
night,
hope you
where the
guys are
stars
ready.
ignite, there's a
Because I
rhythm that's
am.
calling, pure and bright.
I'm
It's the
sorry.
beat of the
I'm sorry I had you
city,
waiting for
alive
so
and
long,
aglow,
but
guided by a
I'm here now,
kitsune
and I'm
in the
ready, and we can
shadows
finally
below.
start.
Feel the pulse of the streets where dreams collide. In the hands of a master, our spirits come alive. Here comes Kyo, the kitsune with sound. Watch the energy grow. From the depths of the dark to the heights of
me switch over here. Okay. Oh. I see that we're missing sound right now. Oh, this is great. We're starting off strong with another sound problem. Can we hear it now? Is the sound can you hear some background music? Can you hear anything? Okay, it should be working now. Hello, Hess. Hi, welcome in. Good to see you. How are you doing? That's good to hear. That's very good to hear. So, yeah, as I announced last stream yesterday, that was yesterday, my god. As I announced yesterday, today is a bit of a different Sunday stream. Today we are not going to play another round of D&D with these wonderful people of the party. No, today I am going to be here and I am going to answer a few questions for you guys. Because yeah, some people asked me a lot of things about the adventure that I could not answer back then. And I want to use this opportunity to do that right now. So today is our very first What If stream. The What If streams will happen every time the party actually finishes one act of the adventure. Right, we're currently in chapter 1 still, we're in the very beginning, but we got through act 1. A lot of open questions, a lot of riddles, a lot of weird happenings, right? So, just for clarification, because I do not want to send out spoilers to anyone or to, you know, tell more than would be good for the story, I will not talk about the future, I will not talk about what is going to happen, and I will not answer questions regarding that, so please keep that in mind when you're going to ask your questions, because, yeah, I don't want to tell the party basically everything before it even happened. Yeah, so please keep that in mind. This is only about what happened in the past so far and what could have happened differently, which is why this is called What If, because as I said in one of the very first streams that we had together as a D&D group, this whole adventure is written by me, and I love to create a world that you can basically do anything in as member of the party, and it has an impact on you, on the others, on the characters surrounding you. It's like, you know, it's I really love preparing different ways of approaching things, different paths to go down, you know, stuff like that. And that's why I said so many times that you cannot 100% a game like this. It's not possible. It's not. You cannot get the 100% achievement here. But that's fine. That's fine, because that's somehow also the beauty in it, right? But because I don't want to waste all that work entirely, I want to know what you guys were asking yourselves during the streams, during the adventure, and now I am here to answer these questions. So if you want to know about the world, about the setting, about the deities, about what could have happened differently, what the party could have done differently, could they have saved someone, could they have killed someone, I don't know. Yeah, that's what we're here for today. And I am going to answer your questions that you're giving me here in chat. So feel free to ask right away. I will just start talking. And I'm surprised too, Has. But yeah, I will just start talking a bit, just telling the story a bit more, you know. And you guys write your questions in chat, and as soon as I see a question, I will yeah, answer it as good as I can. Yeah, as I said, you can ask anything, just not about the future or regarding the future in the campaign, because I cannot answer that. Oh, don't worry. If your voice isn't cooperating, don't worry. I'm just happy to have you here, honestly, Hez. Because I'm going to start with your question. Okay, give me a more precise question about that, Pit, because that's a very I can answer a lot to that. Give me a bit more, you know, more precise question. But I will start with the question that Has gave me last time after our last round. So the question was, what was with the lady in the tavern? She's talking about the hooded lady, fairly in the beginning actually, that they met her in the tavern multiple times. She had a bunch of weird things about her, and later on they ran into her in the Chapel of the First Moon again, where she was hiding some weird stones that now Jarrow and Sev are carrying with them. So, about that woman. That woman's name, first of all, is still not revealed because somehow the party did not find out anything about her, even though there were ways to find out more about her. First of all, that will be very that will be very sad to hear for you, Hess. That woman had a room in the tavern. She was staying there for 2 nights, actually, and she had a few things in the tavern laying around in her room, and you could have tried to break into the room to find out more about her. Also, if the encounter in the church would have gone down differently, you could have either killed her or you could have captured her. I would have let that happen. Yeah, Everett actually kept you from finding out more about this woman. Let me pull her up on the map right now so you can see the token and maybe remember her again. Where is she? There she is. Oh wow, she's teeny. Oh, look at her. Okay, no. Wait. Let me... There she is. There we have her, the hooded woman. The woman that people were talking about, that weird woman that was hiding things and stuff. Yeah, you could have found out a lot about her, and actually she was the very first hint towards the blacksmith back then. You could have, if you would have engaged her more, and if you would have maybe interrogated her, maybe forced her or intimidated her, you know, many ways to do that, but you could have gotten her to talk about the blacksmith, or even like just give you a hint about it, I would say. Also, if you would have encountered her later on in the church, let me look at my let me look at my notes. Yeah, this woman, there was one point in the cathedral, yeah, sure, in the Chapel of the First Moon, where you could have encountered her differently. But you missed her thanks to Everett. Where you could have actually found out that she also was owning one of the faceless masks of the cult. And you could have found out that she was a member of the cult. But because you were mentioning that last time, Hez, I cannot answer you about the stones that she hid because they will be important later on still. But I can tell you what would have happened if you didn't find them. So if you wouldn't have found the stones, because I cannot tell what they do or what they are, I will make this a bit briefly, you know, just scratching the surface here. You would not have had the option to go back to the to the chapel later, or talk to the oracle or the priestesses. That option would have gone down. So you basically saved yourself a very valuable way of gaining information. If you yeah, it was actually, you were very lucky that you found them and that you were able to observe her, because if you weren't, or if you went there too late or too early or just missed her at all, you wouldn't have access to the chapel anymore later on, or any of the people there, basically. I wouldn't say killed. Yeah, I can't really say killed because that would be too harsh. Let's just say it would have been hard encountering these people again. Can't go much more into detail here though. So the vision, about the vision, as a context for these visions, I think I said that before one time during the stream when we were playing, but these visions are not necessarily going to happen exactly this way. Yeah, I'm going to give you this as a context. Visions are usually either a thing that you fear, a thing that could happen, or maybe a dream that you're sharing with someone or something else. And it maybe was one of those three. Yeah, so about the woodcutters, because you were asking that, Pit, that's an interesting thing, actually. Yeah, you're going to feel bullied very soon, Has. You and the others, of course. So, yeah, so about the woodcutters, it's really funny how that thing went down, because the adventure, like the first act, could have gone, like, it could have went on for so much longer than it did. We could have had 2 or 3 more sessions at least, and the party missed at least 2 or 3 fighting encounters entirely. They missed a lot of fighting encounters. They did not fight at all, actually, because every time they were close to fighting, it got somehow resolved. It was so funny. But the woodcutter questline was something that would have led them into basically an unavoidable encounter with some enemies. Let me pull something up right quick for that. So, this is the artwork for the logging camp that you guys could have found. This would have been the place where the oracle would have led you to, and the trails would have led you to as well. The party would have arrived at the camp and quickly found out that it has been abandoned a while ago. Nobody is there. Rotten food, backpacks just left there, you know, tools just left there. It looked like they just went for, you know, a break or something. They didn't take anything with them, but never returned apparently. Yeah, there is a lot that could have happened. They could have found a cave. You guys could have found a cave hidden behind a waterfall. Very classic. Hi Jaro, welcome in. Yeah, you guys could have found a cave behind a waterfall, and you would have encountered some of the killed and partly dismembered woodcutters, but the son of the blacksmith would be still missing as well, because you promised the wife of the blacksmith to find her son. And you would have found out later on that the son had to be with the woodcutters. There was no other way than this being the case. But for some reason, he was not there. He was not to be found there. Yeah, and the first encounter that you would have had, the first unavoidable fight, oh, that's a good question. That's a good question, Hess. I'm going to explain that. The first unavoidable encounter that you would have had would have been in the cave, because oh yeah. So apparently this place, this camp, turned into a hiding spot for some creatures of the night. For example, a werewolf that you would have encountered in the cave, because that was his lair currently. And you could have talked with him if you would have rolled well on social skills. But eventually you could not have avoided the fight that you got into with him. And if you succeeded in the fight, you would have gotten your first pile of loot that you completely missed. So yeah, that was sad. Yeah, also you would have found another artifact inside the cave that I will not tell you about. Jarrow would have been able to follow the lead towards this artifact, and the werewolf was keeping it. But yeah, that I'm not going to tell you what the artifact is or what it does, because you might encounter the artifact later on in the story again, since you did not find it. That's another thing, by the way. Every time you miss things, there is a possibility that this will come back to bite you. To answer Hess's question first, since she asked first, who was in the soup? I can tell you who was in the soup. You could have found that out if you would have had a bit of logical thinking combined with the information that the hooded woman could have given you back then. But because you never really questioned her about these things or about the blacksmith, because there was just no connection made, you could have found out that it was the blacksmith himself. And the blacksmith was in the soup Oh, I have to be careful with that one because I cannot explain that entirely. So, during your time that you were not upstairs and that you were not, well, guarding the kitchen basically, you would have found out that someone is trying to mess with you guys. You are not welcome, and you are already being followed because of something that you're carrying with you. But I will not tell you who it is, why they're following you, or what they want. I'm just going to tell you that you could have found out that you're being followed and that someone is not happy. Right. I will not talk about the sun because you still, I'm going to say this, you still have the chance to save the sun in the second act. If you do not save the sun in the second act, you will not be able to save him anymore. The sun will be gone. Oh wow, thank you so much, Toasty, for the sub, for the gifted sub, thank you so much. Can we look up a guide? I'm sorry, no, that's the beauty in this. No, I'm sorry. Right. So, then we have, Jara's question with the Gabriel guy and the doll. I cannot answer that because that's a character trait of Gabriel's. Okay. Wait, so I'm going to switch the screen again. There we are. So, because people have continuously been asking about this, I will explain a bit more about the world while we don't have any questions in chat, just so everyone knows what's happening. Okay, so let's start with the character, shall we? We can start with Gabriel, actually. So, to talk about Gabriel, we will go south. Far, far into the south. Especially towards the Heracran Empire. So, about Jaramon's character, Gabriel. Gabriel is a tiefling, and he is from Heracria. Yeah, I can't even. Heracrius. So, the Heracran Empire is basically a desert. It's a very deserted land, very dry, very hot. It's a desert. The style that you can compare it to is probably the ancient Egypt mixed with a bit of an Arabic touch, basically. Even though the empire is very rich itself, the people living there are usually either very wealthy or very poor. It's like there is a huge gap in between those two. No, it is never too late, Hess. Send me what you have. I would love to incorporate that to the story. Heracrius is a very old empire, one of the oldest kingdoms that Cathilos has to offer, and it always was a nation of war, basically. War and conquer. It was always strong in military ways, and very proud and very focused on, you know, honor and fight and war and whatever. And it got so bad that it even tried to conquer across the sea, which didn't work as well for them. Yeah, it was bad. It was not good for them, and ever since, Heraclius has a bit of a tense situation, a tense political situation going on with the other kingdoms. But it slowly is recovering for now. Yes, you have a question, Jaro. Ask right away. So, you want to kill a member of the party? I don't know. I mean, I can't forbid that. I can't forbid that. But I do not think it's a good idea, to be honest. I do not think it's a good idea. Whispers Everett. No. Give him the chance for some personal growth, you know? So, let's move on to the home of our beloved Hesperia, our swashbuckler. Hesperia comes from the kingdom of Cinaria. Cinaria is basically, and no, that's not a typo, you actually type that with 2 Y's. So, the kingdom of Cinaria is probably the one that you could call the kingdom of the sea. It is very bound to seafaring. It has great ships. It's the one of you know, oh my god, wait, I just went stupid. I forgot. Yeah, transport, sea transfer, traveling. It's basically the port for people who want to see the world, who want to travel. Thank you, Jaro. It's basically home to many stories, many people who have traveled across Cathilas, people who have seen a lot, you know, something like that. And yes, there are pirates in that kingdom as well, and no, they are not legally there. But yeah, since we found out that Hes is also a Dhampir, so she is half vampire, she's not entirely from Cinaria. She basically is from in between. You probably find that very funny, Toasty, but there are legal pirates, or at least gray zoned pirates, because I think a long time ago, somewhere in history, I don't know, but there were pirates that were hired by kings or I don't know, counts or something like that, and they were hired by them and paid by them. So they were legally pirates. But yeah, about the Dhampir, about Hesperia. Since Hesperia is also half a creature of the night, she comes from the home of vampires in this world. Cathilas has a little country called Belovia. And Belovia is basically home to many creatures of the night, mainly vampires, since it's reigned by a vampire noble family. Right. And you can imagine, by the way, Cinaria, since it is the country of the sea, of traveling across the sea, you know, it has like this seafarer charm, the charm of a pirate bay, maybe even. not as extreme, but maybe you get the vibe that I'm trying to describe here. I'm trying to get artworks for this done, but yeah, that's a lot of time and effort, so I can't show you yet. Sorry. Thank you for the redeemed error. About Balovia, Balovia is the classic vampire world. It's the classic vampire realm. It's very Victorian. I'm missing words while describing. You know, I think of the word and then I forget it. Very Victorian styled, and also very connected to the sea, actually. Because in this world, vampires are not scared of running water. So, no, I know there are legends with the whole garlic and flowing water and crosses thing, but since this is not a Christian world and a Christian setting, no. They're fine with flowing water. You also, by the way, you can imagine parts of Balovia, especially the capital city Dumantha, looking a bit like an old Venice. It's really cool. I have some pictures in my head that I want to make reality, but it's really, you know, it's a lot of time and effort, and I do not have time, and I want to put the effort in, but I can't at the moment, time-wise. But I will give you the artworks. Yeah, oh my god, that's such a good thing to say, actually, Leo. If you guys know Curse of Strahd, Balovia is a bit like Ustalav, but more, you know, connected with Venice, basically, mixed with a bit of Venice, and yeah. But yeah, if you know Curse of Strahd, you have a good idea of the general vibe there. Okay, then let's move on, shall we? We're moving on to the Kareshi Swamps. Home to none other than our beloved pile of rusty metal, Tenaris. Yeah, the Kareshi Swamps have a long and actually pretty tragic history, because Karesh was not always a swamp. Wait, I need to drink something. Sorry. So, Karesh was not always a swamp. It used to be a very, very vibrant jungle. You know, it was very lively, very healthy, blooming, and basically a very, very beautiful jungle. There were, like, it was home to many, many animal-like species. You know, like I don't know, fox people and rabbit people and I don't know. But yeah, it was home to a lot of animal like jungle bunnies. Why? Okay, I don't know why the auto mod was questioning the jungle bunnies, but I don't know. But yeah, back then it was home to all these species. But sadly, because of a catastrophe happening in the neighbor country Charnadun, the swamps or the jungle back then, was very, very heavily impacted. Due to a catastrophe caused by war and divine magic, sadly. The forest of Charnadun turned into the Ashenlands of Charnadun because multiple volcanoes surrounding one huge volcano erupted from that land and caused an ashen cloud to, well, rise up in the air and move towards the Karashi jungle back then. But that cloud covered the sun for such a long time that the Karashi jungle started to die away and turn into a dead and rotting swamp. The Ashen Cloud now has long left, but the jungle was never able to fully heal and recover from that. Also, the forest of Arnagand, that is very close to Charnadun, partially burned down, but not entirely, not as bad as Charnadun itself. But yeah, the swamps now are what they are today. A swamp that is trying to, well, live with what it has. Most of the population of Karesh died during that catastrophe because without sun and over such a long period, they had not really a good future to look at. But some parts of the civilization survived because they turned towards powers that they were still available to them, but used to be forbidden back then. Such as necromancy, for example. Which is why Daenerys looks the way he does. I mean, you guys figured because you're the guys watching, you know that. And in Kadesh, necromancy is what keeps the people alive, basically. It sounds weird, but thanks to their necromancy and their abilities using it, they were able to sustain somewhat of a society there. Small and very secluded, but still they survived somehow. They long gave up on healing the swamps because they don't see any way to do that. True has. But yeah, which is why the goddess of the Kareshi swamps is also the goddess of the undead as well. Very true, Has. Yeah, you took very long, actually. But yeah, that is Daenerys' home. Ever does not come from Cathilos, since I cannot show you much about him. He stems from the Feywilds. He is an Eladrin elf. You might recognize that race from other D&D games. It's not part of the races that I've written or I've created. Neither are the Feywilds. But I had to incorporate them somehow. Right. So far about the world. I could go into other countries, other parts of the world, if you want me to. If you want to know more about the parts of the world that I haven't talked about, feel free to ask in chat. Yeah, that's true. It was a bit of it was a piece of work for me to work with a race and a home place that I am not that I did not create for this world, because I basically have to connect two different worlds and different settings and stuff, but I made it easy for myself. Let's be true. I made it easy for myself. Yeah. How well known are the Tears of Thara? So basically, the Tears of Thara are such an essential piece of jewelry to the history of Cathilos, of the entirety of Cathilos, not only Scarif, but everyone and everything here. The Tears of Thara are, by name, they are very well known. Like, if you say that name, people usually know what you're talking about. If you see them, not as much. Very few people have ever looked at this piece of jewelry. And most of these eyes have been royal or guards of it. Yeah. They are very, very well known. So if you name them, people will know what you're talking about, and they will know what they are and what they can do. Because the Tears of Thara basically have a very long history and a very important part in the history, especially in the history of a war between the Heraclean Empire and the Kingdom of Scarif. Because the attackers back then, who were first repelled by this artifact, or by the creator of this artifact, I should say, were the Heracleans. Which is also why they have a very tense relationship with the other countries. I mean, so Pit, to be completely fair, it's no shame in making something big for yourself because you're enjoying your character and his story. And I allowed it, so, you know. But, I don't blame Everett for it. I think Everett is just having a bit of a hard time sometimes to find himself into the setting, you know? Because he is from another world, so it might be difficult for him. But honestly, I think that's a great opportunity for character growth and a good exercise for him as a player as well, you know, to deal with that kind of situation. And he chose it after all, I allowed it, so to be fair, it's fine. It's fine. Of course, I hope there will be less shenanigans within the party in the future, but even that, you know, it influences the party in a way, and I don't think it's too bad. That could be Pith. Hess, you're asking what countries... Oh, okay, so it's not like Scarif doesn't like countries... Okay. So, what countries are having a problem with Scarif? So actually, currently there are not many. There used to be more. But at the moment, mostly there is the southern continent with the Heraclean Empire and Anketo and many others there. If you look down south, there are... All of those basically have a united problem, if you will, with Scarif, because the wounds are still deep from the loss that they had there, even though they attacked themselves. And probably it is the influence of the Emperor of the Heraclean Empire as well, who's causing a bit of a problem there. But for now, they are at peace with them. Another country that has a problem with Scarif is actually Karesh. They don't have that big of a problem with Scarif because they never were at war with them. It's not like they have they feel like enemies or anything. Not as bad as the Heraclean Empire, but basically that dates back to when the jungle of Karesh needed help. And needed to regrow and needed protection and all of that, and Scarif basically didn't come to their aid, which was due to another war that Scarif was in at that time. But back then, they were, you know, it was a bit... they were just in a bad situation, and they just couldn't get there to help them, basically. But, yeah, basically it's only those two parts of the world that really have a problem with Scarif, I would say. No, that's fine. Actually, that's very fine, Pit. Don't worry. Yeah, exactly that was the problem. So Scarif was at war at that time, and Karesh needed help, and Scarif couldn't help them. So the swamps these days basically... They don't feel as good about Scarif, but it's still not that big of an issue, actually. So I would not say that, let's say Tanaris would have a problem going there or helping them or anything. It's not that bad. So if people know that you're from Koresh, it is very likely that they also assume that you are a necromancer, or at least you know your ways around necromancy or the undead. Not all necromancers or undead come from the Koreshi swamps, but most of the people from the Koreshi swamps know their ways around it, at least. It's just part of their lifestyle these days. Yeah, exactly, Pit. They can understand the situation that Scarith was in. Right, give me a moment. I need to pull up more notes. The Karenian Mountains. Hess, you actually encountered someone from... It's okay. I love that. I love that. They're not silly. They're great questions, actually. The Karenian Mountains are, You encountered someone from the Karenian Mountains, if you remember. There were two, dwarves at the tavern. Were they dwarves? Wait, I need to check. But I think they were dwarves. Yeah, they were dwarves. Okay. Dwarves. I forgot their names though. Give me a moment. Yeah, they were dwarves. You encountered them pretty early into the story. Yeah, at the bar. Yeah, exactly. One of them was a messenger, a represented from the Karenian Mountains, and he was talking about the cave with the cultist stuff in it at the mountains. That was basically the first hint that we're going to deal with the cult. Oh yeah, by the way, you could have encountered this dwarf, I think, 4 more times? At least. Yeah, at least 4 more times. But yeah, the Karenian Mountains are basically the home to many underground species, like dwarves, for example. The Karenian Mountains are reigned over by dwarves. They have a dwarven king, but he is not acknowledged and accepted by all races living in Karenia. But most of them do. The Karenian Mountains are very high. It's basically, if you're at a certain altitude, it snows there all the time. Like, you don't have another season there. It's very cold, very snowy, which is why people usually live underground inside the mountains. There is lots of space and lots of ores, lots of very precious minerals to mine together and to sell. The Karenian Mountains are basically the source for any kind of mineral or ore or whatever, and they export that through the entirety of Cathilos. What happened? Wait. Regarding what now? What happened where with them? The 2 dwarves in the tavern or the mountains? So the dwarves are still in the village, but the no, never mind. Scrap that. The messenger left. The messenger left the morning after the night you were in the smithy. So when you encountered the Fey Dragon, basically, and you went back up and it turned day slowly, the dwarven messenger was making his way further towards Scarith. But you could have encountered him earlier a lot of times, when you were chasing Everett around. And you could have talked to him more about the cult, about what happened in Karenia, and yeah, why he is here basically, and why he is going to Skadi. Which I will not talk about, because if you make your way to Skadi, if you get there, you will probably have the chance to meet him again. Oh, and because I've been asked that before privately, I'm going to answer that question here as well. So everything you went through, everything you encountered in the village, in Biliang village, Biliang was the prologue. It was the intro. It was the beginning of the story. You know, the coming together for the party, now making their way to the capital city. Of course, things that happened in Biliang will still have some impact on the story, but the main thing will happen within the capital city. Because, so the question basically was, why is the party already now traveling to the capital city if this was just the first act of the first chapter? And we're looking at 6 chapters minimum, with probably 4 to 8 acts in one chapter. I can tell you why, because the party, if they choose to stick around that long, the party will travel around Cathilos. They will encounter a lot of things. There is a lot going down. And you will visit so many different places in Cathilos. You will visit different countries, different places, different cities. You will have different missions. This is only the start. This is only the start. And yes, because that is very obvious, but I've been asked that as well. Yes, the Eternal Serpent is basically the main problem in this campaign. That's why I will not show the serpent yet. I will not talk about the cult too much. I can answer things about the serpent that have happened in the past and that you guys could basically know and stuff. I could talk more about the serpent, but I will not talk about like what's going to happen with the serpent. But yes, the serpent is going to be the main problem of the campaign. And that's why you're being sent all over Cathilos, basically. So it will not end in Skadi. We are going so far, so much further than this. Let's get him. Hess is so ready. Hess is so ready for the Eternal Serpent. Oh, I hope not. I really hope not, Hess. I hope you're not getting eaten. Yeah. Then actually, let me talk a bit more about the Tears of Dara for now before we get the next question in. I'm gonna pull up some different notes. I have so many notes, it's so great. I love my notes. Give me my notes. So, okay, so, the Tears of Dara. Yeah, it's, yeah, you know the Eternal Serpent already, Fit. You're the only one who's not allowed to ask about them. But so, about the Tears of Dara. The Tears of Dara are named after the very first queen, the beginning of the royal family of Skadi, Thara, Queen Thara Altras. She was the very first queen of Skadi, and she basically united Cathilos under her banner. The Tears of Thara are an artifact that was forged by her after she drew her last breaths after the war against the Heracrean Empire. Because during that war, Heracreus was trying to seize control over Scarif and basically reigning over that city, because as we learned in the campaign already, Scarif has more than just beautiful towers and, a pretty city. It is very important because of what's underneath. Yeah, the Heracrean Empire wanted that, and the Emperor wanted to gain control over that. So he tried to attack Scarif. But because of the gods back then not being very happy with the Emperor's plans, they basically made the army's trip across the sea towards Scarif very, very difficult. Horrible storms basically halved the amount of army that actually amount of the soldiers. Sorry, my god, the words, the words. I can't talk. So, horrible storms halved the amount of soldiers that actually in the end arrived at Scarif. And yeah, they stood no chance. But during that war, and it still was a pretty brutal war because Heracreus has a lot of resources, the daughter back then of the queen, Lucia Ultras, died in battle, and Thara was mortally wounded. She made it through another year, thanks to a lot of healers, a lot of doctors looking after her, but her death was inevitable. On her deathbed, she cried tears of loss, with the wish to protect, praying to the godmother Apocrypha, who formed the world. I've been talking about that in the campaign before. She cried to the godmother that she may give her the strength to protect her kingdom for eternity. And that way of protection were the tears of the queen that suddenly fell down onto the ground, crystallized, and they were made into a necklace, an artifact of power of the godmother, basically, which is why it's so strong and so well protected usually. With the ability to protect, not destroy, not making a weapon or anything. It was an artifact of pure protection that was kept in the Tower of Scarif to forever protect the city. Which apparently didn't work pretty well because now it's in the hand of 4 very crazy adventurers. But yeah, ever since the Heracrean Empire tried again to attack the city later, but failed eventually, due to the shield that protected the city. After that, the attempts at war with Scarif basically died down pretty quickly, and the world established peace. Political situations were very tense here and there, but basically the world is at peace for now after countless natural and man-made catastrophes. Right, just before I forget, Thara had another child, a son, Durian Altras, and he basically kept the royal family alive, which is why nowadays we have another queen of the Altras family sitting in Scarif, which is Caria Altras, who is currently the reigning queen during the campaign. So far about the Tears of Thara and the first queen of Scarif. I mean, you know, his mother had a vision, you know? His mother his mother had a vision and a dream. Make babies. He was actually the first and last male member of the Ultras family who ever wore the crown in Scuddy. Just saying. Because they had a bunch of daughters, sons were very, very, very rare. And if they had a son, usually the daughter was the older one, so she got the crown. Make kids. On the deathbed, no less. Yeah, that's another thing. So ever since Thara's last prayer towards the World Mother, the Ultras family had a very strong connection towards the creator deity Apocrypha. I will not go deeper here because that's something that the party will inevitably find out sooner or later about the royal family, because they have a very special bond with the gods of this world. Yeah, that's a very vague question. Okay. You know what? Ask me about a deity that you want to know more about, and I can tell you about that deity what I can tell you. Apocrypha would never think like that, but she would never. Sharessa, yes. Okay, one of my favorites. So, I actually love that she is your protector deity. So Sharessa is part of the original three, the gods that first were created. In the beginning, there was Apocrypha, of course. She created Cathilas. She was trying to make her dream reality, and she was forming this world, basically. But because she needed aid, even though she was the creator goddess, she couldn't do everything by herself, so she created the sun and the moon, represented as her two children, Sharessa and Ternas. Sharessa is named also, has many names. She is the heir of the moon, the daughter of the world mother, just the first moon, because, you know, created first and then is the moon. So she is connected to many different kinds of beliefs of people, but she is mainly the goddess of the night, of secrets, and also the protector deity of thieves and spies and all of that. Basically, people following Sharessa have many different ways to go about it. Some just follow Sharessa because Sharessa is also known as the embracing moon or the loving moon. She is described as very gentle, very kind, and very beautiful as well. Others follow her because she also shrouds her followers in darkness if needed to protect them. She keeps secrets safe, and she also is basically a protector of those who tread in the shadows. It's that easy. She's the protector of rogues, basically. That is also why she is your protector, Hesperia, because you're a rogue, a swashbuckler, So she's basically the perfect pick for you. Even though, by the way, she is the goddess of the night, and she is also, by the way, the goddess of the death. People pray to her for souls passing on during a funeral, for example. She is the goddess of death and the goddess of thieves and stuff, but she's not inherently evil because of that, because death is not seen as something evil in this world. And even though thieves and spies and all of that is looked at not so well, she's not evil. She's the protector of secrets, and she shrouds her followers in shadow. That's simply why she does it. She herself is very gentle, actually. Very gentle, very kind, you know. Yeah, exactly. She is usually asked to guide souls to their new life or to their new whatever and they may meet. But yeah, that is basically Sharessa. That's the goddess of the moon. On the other side is her brother, Ternos. Ternos is the complete opposite of her. Yeah, like that. You could compare her to Sharon, actually. She's very, very similar to that, if you will. But yeah, on the other side we have Ternos, the sun and the heir of the sun, son of Apocrypha, brother of Sharessa, and he is the god of honor. He is our sunny side up boy. Yeah, he's the god of sun, the god of honor, the god of life and day and the light, you know, all of that. But he is described as very temperamental, he has a very fiery temperament, you know, he's very strong-minded, and he has no problem with fighting in honor, but not to conquer or anything. That's not his thing. He is more of like a protective fighter, if you want to. He fights to protect, basically. Where Sharessa hides to protect, he fights to protect, if you will. Okay. Yeah, do we have any other questions from the audience so far? Maybe something about the adventure, something that you guys could have missed, something that you want to know, something that the party might have missed. Tanaris' goddess, Zala. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Give me a moment. I need to pull up my notes for this one because I just remember so much about my own world, apparently. Oh, you can see that. Wait, give me a moment. You're not allowed to see that. You can still see that, can't you? Yes, you can. Okay, then let's do it like that. I'm not hiding anything. So these are the gods that I finished. There are more in this world, but writing about them and stuff takes a long time. And also, again, I want to have artworks for them. I don't have them yet. Please don't kill me. I'm working on them. Yeah, Neriel is the goddess of the sea, actually. She is basically very much worshipped in Scenaria and surroundings. But we were asked about Zala, the Temptress. Yes. So, usually gods are also royals of that respective world. You have to imagine that in this world, gods are usually, except from the original three, of course, since they're not reigning as well. But all of the other deities are basically ascended mortals. Ascended people that have been living a normal life on this world for a set time and then ascended due to something they did. Or something that happened to them sometimes even. So Zala the Temptress is the god queen of Karesh, the protective goddess of Karesh, and the one that ascended after Karesh was already a swamp. So she's a very young goddess. She was one of the last ones to ascend, as we see here. Zala is, or was, during her lifetime as a mortal, she was a Naga woman. And now she is still depicted as a Naga, but much larger in size, with a tail that, according to legend, is able to wrap around the entire country of Karesh as kind of a protective embrace, if you will. So that's a good way to think about it, but usually people do not know anything about her working with the Eternal Serpent, because she ascended, and if a mortal ascends, they ascend because Apocrypha allows them to, or Apocrypha sees a necessity in them ascending. And she wouldn't let someone ascend who is connected to the Eternal Serpent. And just to make this clear, because I had someone who thought this for a very long time, but Zala is not the Eternal Serpent. They're two different people. She is not the Eternal Serpent. She is the Temptress. Yeah, she is the goddess of lust, decay, and indulgence. She's a very questionable god, but apparently people really needed her after what happened with Karesh. Alchemists, witches, and necromancers, for example, they worship Zala. Because other than Sharessa, because Sharessa is the goddess of death, but Zala is basically the goddess of undeath. She is the opposite to Sharessa. She would never allow a deceased one to actually die. She would bring them back to life, and she would not let go, because the thought behind that is basically, after what happened to their land, they don't want to suffer any more loss. So Zala basically reverses loss, if you will. Yeah, the reason why she is called the Temptress is basically not because she's the goddess of lust. I mean, yeah, also, but the reason for that is that her followers are known to be very good in, well, recruiting new followers. She spreads very well among the common folk, if you will. Because she basically allows you to do questionable things that other gods would not like you to do, basically. That's why the Temptress. Because forbidden stuff is always interesting. I get that, Pit. Totally understandable, though. So, is there another god among these that I'm showing right now that you might want to know more about? A certain snake species. No, relax, Pit. Ashran the Conqueror. Yeah, sure. Can talk about Ashran. Funny that you're picking him. Because Ashran is the currently existing god of Heraclius. He is the reigning god king of Heraclius. It's Indiana Jones over there. So back in the day when Ashran was immortal, he was the emperor of Heraclius. And he was, I think, the emperor during the second war against Scarif. So he was the one that, or his men were the ones that killed the daughter of Thara, of Queen Thara. He is, as the name says, the conqueror. He is the one that is the god of war, maybe like Ares in Greek mythology. You can imagine him like that. Just with not a Greek vibe, but an ancient Egyptian vibe. He is a very cruel, but very powerful god. He loves war and he loves taking by force. Taking land by force, taking treasures by force. He is the conqueror. He wants to win war when war happens. He is not there for losing, and he will win by any means necessary, basically. And as the last sentence says, actually, followers of Ashran believe that you have to act to achieve, even if these acts sometimes require horrible sacrifices. Like your morale, for example, or your honor, because he does not give two shits about honor, not like Ternos. Ternos fights with honor. Ashran does not. Because Ashran knows that you cannot win a war if you keep focusing on honor. You could, I don't know, maybe maybe Pit, maybe a little bit, maybe. Okay. Should we keep going with the deities? Or are you having questions about the... Or are you having questions about the campaign or something that has been missing out? Or maybe about the world, another country maybe, I don't know. Or should we just stick with the deities? Yeah, Pitt loves to fraud the deities for some reason, which is kind of funny. Oh, Pitt. Oh, I just remembered there is a deity that you would really like. I just remembered there. I nearly forgot about that. I think you've read about him before. I think I've sent you something. Oh yeah. So Nariel, this is good actually because then I can make a bit of advertisement. So Nariel, first of all, why I'm saying that thing with the advertisement. As I said before, I'm currently working on a video game that is based on this world, on Cathilas, and on what's going on right now. Yeah, I love that Pit pointed that out earlier, so I can say that now. Because yes, Nariel is already mentioned in the game. The game is far enough to mention her already. I love that. But yes, let's talk about Nariel. Nariel would have been my second choice for you, Hess, as a goddess, because she is the god queen of Cenaria. She is the god of the queen. What? Wait. Wait, she is the god of the sea. Hell, what is going on? She is the goddess of the sea. and of journeys and travels across the oceans. Usually, she is protecting seafarers or just travelers of any kind. And whenever people are planning to travel across the sea, they usually pray to her. But she also is the protective deity of many, many species living below the surface of the water. Many, many underwater species pray to her because Neriel herself was, during her time on Cathilos, when she did not ascend back then, a siren. She was a siren. And actually, she is one of the first ones to ascend, actually. I think she was the fourth one to ascend. I need to get my own history straight. But yeah, she... she was, I think, the fourth one of all the gods to ascend from mortal to deity. Yeah. Oh yeah, and many healers pray to her as well. Because apparently she also is a healer. I made her into that and I just kept that. I don't even know why anymore. I just noted that down sometime and I know that, yeah, she is also a goddess for healing, apparently. So yeah, she would have been my second choice for you. Yeah, maybe. Not for now, because Everett's healing still is pretty strong, but every level up is going to make his healing a lot harder for him. But yeah, Pit, let me introduce you to the deity that I think is totally to your taste. I'm talking about Silpharo. Silpharo, the Guardian. Silpharo is called the Moonchild as well. And that is because he is a moon phoenix. He is one of 3 animals, or one of 3 magical animals that ever ascended. And he is the protector of Tirnagand. Okay, this is all I need to know. Yeah, during the time of Charna Dune being burned down, as I explained earlier, and the lands around Charna Dune as well burning down partly, the fire even reached Tirnagand, or at least the borders. And Silpharo was protecting his land as much as he could, but eventually, a certain cult appeared. I will not go deeper into this because you might find out what happened in detail in the campaign, so I will just briefly, go over it. But a certain cult appeared, and Silpharo tried to fight this cult and to protect his home. And Silpharo fell. Silpharo died during that fight. And they tried to spread his ashes so he could never reincarnate. But Sheressa saw that. She watched that whole thing happen, and she did something that she would never ever do usually. But because of what Silpharo did, and because of Silpharo being the last one of his kind, she had him ascend to godhood. So, yeah. Ever since Silpharo became a god, the guardian god of Tirnagand, and is now worshipped as the god of nature and fertility. And there is a wide range of people who pray to him. Of course, the people of Tirnagand pray to him, but also people around Cathilos pray to him for good harvest, for healing a sickly family member or friend, traveling people seeking protection, there's a wide range of people who ask him for his blessing, basically. Yeah. That is Zilfaro. I thought you might like them. Right. So, I can tell you about a quest you missed. So during the first act, there were about... Wait, let me check. So, there were 4 quests in total that you could have found. You found 1. I gotta say, the whole thing with Everett basically kept you from finding many things. But yeah, you found 1 quest, that was the woodcutter quest. Then there was another quest regarding the family that runs the tavern in Beliang. Then we have another quest with... Wait, let me check. Ah, yeah. Then there was another quest with the Githyanki and the Goblin. And the last quest you missed was a quest regarding a little theater group that was traveling towards Garith and took a break in Beliang and performed there. And something would have happened there, and you could have taken on a little side quest regarding that. So yeah, you missed a lot. The third one, with the Githyanki and the Goblin, oh, you could have taken on that quest way earlier. Like, the Githyanki and the Goblin were there from day on in the tavern. You could have taken on their quest so early. But yeah, since Tenaris was starting a fight with the Goblin, the quest would have been harder to get after that point. Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. But it was great. It was great. Right. Any other questions? Maybe regarding the Oh, you know what? I can actually talk about this quest a bit. So let me wait. Oh no, I can't talk about that. You have to find that out in the campaign. You still have a chance at finding that out. Never mind, I cannot talk about that. I wanted to talk about it, but I can't. There are some things that you can still find out. But you know what? Do you guys have any other questions that are, you know, burning on your tongue that you really want to ask me? Because otherwise I probably will, you know, come to an end with this stream. I will talk a bit in general about what's going to happen and about something regarding the campaign in general. But yeah, do you have any more questions? As reward from the quests. So, to be fair, one of the most important currencies in this campaign is knowledge. I created this campaign in a way that with knowledge you can solve a lot of things. So 2 of these side quests, 2 of the little side quests, one is regarding the tavern family and the other one regarding the traveling theater group. They would have told you, you would have found out a bunch, and you would have gotten from the family, from the tavern family, you would have been connected to someone else who would have given you access to a little shop where you could have found out a lot more lore. Then there is the quest with... Wait. Then there is the quest with the Githyanki and the Goblin. The Githyanki would have paid you a sizable amount of gold for your work. And also, you would have received a diplomatic gate pass for Scarith City. You would have been looked at as having a diplomatic status. No, Hess, no. And then there is the woodcutter quest. I already said that. You could have encountered the werewolf, and he would have held on to one of the artifacts that Jarrett was looking for. And aside from that, he was also keeping a little bit of gold on him. And wait, let me. Oh yeah! Oh right! Oh yeah! So you will hate this. So he kept a special little trinket with him. And that was part of his mechanic. The werewolf owned a moon silk cloak, and that cloak has the ability to completely hide you as long as you are standing under moonlight. So everywhere outside, basically, you are completely obscured. I'm sorry, Hess. I'm sorry. That's just going nuts right now. No, I didn't want to. Oh. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's the rewards you missed. New game plus. She wants to redo the prologue again. We talked to everyone. Oh my god, that would be so funny though. A new game plus for Act 1. Well, so. Right. Are there any other questions? Because otherwise I will slowly come to an end here. Is gonna ascend to leader so everyone follows her. Okay, good, good. Anything else from anyone else? I'm upset about missing the loot. Oh no! Okay, then let me get this to an end, this wonderful stream. I had a lot of fun, honestly. I love doing this because I love revealing all my work. We need noob guidance. So, you guys, as a general information, my campaigns are usually designed so every or nearly every NPC has somewhat of a purpose. It always makes sense talking to people. They do have a purpose. If I let you talk to them, if they do have something to say, it always, like, it's never for nothing, honestly, because I love playing with this. So don't worry, you will get enough chances. But as a last little, as my parting present, yeah, there we go. As my parting present for you guys, I have an artwork for you. An artwork that I got it here, and it's the artwork of a place that you will find in Scarith City. I know it's long until then, you will probably not see it in the next session or two, but I love this artwork, I find it very epic, and I thought you might want to see that. It looks really good. Let me pull that up real quick. There we go. So, what you're seeing here is the Ivory Cathedral in Scarith City. You have now an idea how Scarith City looks, and this is the place of worship towards the World Mother, Apocrypha, the highest goddess there is in this world, and this is the place where she is worshipped the most. Yeah, it's the Ivory Cathedral, as I said, and you will be able to go there and, you know, to do things there. And don't worry, Hess, you cannot miss that. This thing is way too obvious and important, by the way. Yeah, but hold on. There is something else that I have for you, because I've shown that sometime before, I think. I gotta wait. I need to turn off my screen here for this. We're not doing spoilers. We're not doing spoilers here. No spoilerinos. Well, how do I? This is weird. There we go. I'm sorry, I need to find this. And it's not as easy as I thought because my PC is very full. But I've got it in a moment. There we go, I think. Do we go there? Do we go? Are we going? Is it going? Are we doing the go? Oh yes, we're doing the go. There we yeah, okay, never mind. I got it, perfect. Okay. And here we are. So, some people might recognize this artwork in a different lighting and style from a promotional picture. But this, my darlings, is the palace of Scarith City, finally in a sunset. I wanted to have this in a sunset, now I got it in a sunset. Yeah, this is the palace of Scarif City. So this is what's going to await you in the next year. Some amazing buildings. I love the style of Scarif, honestly. I cannot. And I'm very hyped for the party to get there. And by the way, Pit, I just read that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I I put a lot of time and thought into this whole world, into the lore and everything. And I will probably not write a book, but I'm creating the game about this world. So yeah, I think it's a book, but more immersive. But thank you very much. I'm very happy with it. It looks amazing. Yeah, and you guys will go there soon enough. But I think I'm going to end the stream here. I'm very glad that you were here. Thank you so much for participating, for asking me questions, and you know, I couldn't do this without people asking questions, so thanks. Thank you very much. And yeah, for this year, I will have one more streams. I will be streaming on Thursday. Probably not gaming, but maybe having a music stream, talking to you guys, and you know, having a last stream for the year. And then, yeah, then that's it for this year. It's crazy. It really is crazy. I'm not a VTuber for as long as many other people I'm collabing with. I'm friends with. I'm a baby to these people, honestly. But still, it feels weird that the year is already over. But yeah, I am very hyped for next year, for the upcoming stuff that's going to happen. And thank you very much for being part of the stream, even though it is a bit different. But thank you very much. Since I'm only going to see you after Christmas, I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, a very Merry Christmas. And I'm going to see you before the new year, so don't you dare having a Happy New Year before I say so. And thank you so much for all the support and for the wonderful collabs and my wonderful moderation team, of course, especially Pit. I'm gonna call Pit out so much for this, but without Pit, this channel would not be running as wonderful as it does. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you. I would not be doing as well as I am without you. Pit is amazing. Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Pit, for this. And yeah, I'm very happy to have you guys. Hope you're enjoying this as much as I do. And yeah, consider joining my Discord. Check me out on YouTube and my music on SoundCloud, if you will. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful time zone. Wherever you are in the world. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, you guys. Feel loved. I will see you next time. Bye.
In the heart of the forest where the moonbeams play, Kyo roams freely at the break day. Crystal skin shining, tails gleaming bright. She's a mystical dancer in the pale moonlight. Crystal melodies under city lights. Kyo's music ignites the night. From the woods to stage, she takes flight, spinning tunes of wonder with all her might. Through the ancient trees, she gracefully glides, guided by the rhythm of the city's tides. Neon lights calling in the bustling street. Kyo's on a journey where the wild hearts meet. Crystal melodies under city lights. Kyo's music ignites the night. From the woods to stage, she takes flight, spinning tunes of wonder with all her might. With each crystal tale, a story's told. In the enchanting melody, she unfolds. crystal and red.